At number 10 stands Pendle Hill, a lonely landmark rising above the misty landscape of Lancashire. In 1612, this peaceful countryside became the centre of one of England's most notorious witch trials. 12 local people were accused of causing illness and death through witchcraft. The evidence against them was shaped by superstition, family rivalries, and even the testimony of a young child. 10 of the accused were eventually executed, becoming victims of fear, suspicion, and a merciless legal system. More than 4 centuries later, their story still defines the surrounding landscape. Walkers often describe Pendle Hill as strangely atmospheric, particularly when darkness or heavy fog covers the summit. And when the wind moves across the empty ridge, it almost feels as if the hill remembers every name. At number 9, the ruins of Whitby Abbey watch silently over the cold waters of the North Sea. In 1890, writer Bram Stoker arrived in Whitby and discovered the perfect setting for a new Gothic nightmare. The ruined abbey, the ancient churchyard, the violent coastal storms and local stories of shipwrecks helped shape the world of his most famous novel, Dracula. In the story, a mysterious ship reaches Whitby during a terrifying storm. Its crew has vanished, its captain is dead, and a huge black dog leaps from the wreck before disappearing into the darkness. Today, visitors can climb the famous 199 steps leading toward the abbey. But when the daylight fades and the ruined arches become silhouettes against the sky, Stoker's fictional nightmare begins to feel dangerously close to reality. Number 8. Pluckley. At number 8 is Pluckley, a picturesque English village with a remarkably dark reputation. Local folklore describes more than 12 different ghosts wandering through its streets, fields, and historic buildings. At a place known as Fright Corner, the spirit of a highwayman is said to appear near the tree where he was supposedly killed. Around St. Nicholas Church, visitors tell stories of the Red Lady and the White Lady, 2 silent apparitions connected to the powerful Derrant family. Other legends describe a screaming man, a mysterious schoolmaster, and a phantom horse-drawn carriage that appears without warning before vanishing into the night. Pluckley may look peaceful during the day, but after sunset its empty roads feel very different. Here, almost every old house, field, and shadowy lane seems to have a ghost story of its own. At number 7, Hampton Court Palace hides a tragic story inside one of its grandest corridors. In 1541, Catherine Cunady, the 5th wife of King Henry VIII, learned that she would be charged with adultery and treason. According to legend, the terrified young queen broke free from her guards and ran along the palace gallery toward the chapel. She hoped to find Henry there and beg him for mercy. Catherine never reached the king. The guards seized her near the chapel doors and dragged her back to her rooms as she screamed for help. Only a few months later, she was executed at the Tower of London. Visitors now call the corridor the Haunted Gallery. Some claim that Catherine's screams can still be heard there, while others say her ghost continues to repeat its final, desperate journey. At number 6 lies Highgate Cemetery, a Victorian city of the dead hidden inside modern London. Opened in 1839, it became a labyrinth of Gothic tombs, stone angels, dark catacombs, and elaborate mausoleums. By the 1960s, parts of the cemetery had fallen into decay. Trees and ivy covered the graves, and witnesses began reporting a tall, dark figure with burning eyes. Newspapers transformed these stories into the legend of the Highgate vampire. The panic reached its height on Friday the 13th in March 1970, when crowds of self-appointed vampire hunters gathered outside the cemetery and entered the grounds. No vampire was ever discovered, but the legend survived. Today, the Egyptian Avenue and Circle of Lebanon remain hauntingly beautiful. Among their silent tombs, it is easy to feel that something is watching from the darkness. At number 5, Pomeroy Castle rises from the woods of Devon like the remains of a forgotten nightmare. The grand mansion was intended to become one of the finest houses in the region, but the project was never fully completed. By 1700, the castle had been abandoned, leaving its empty rooms to decay. Its most famous legend concerns the White Lady, supposedly the spirit of a woman imprisoned by her jealous sister. Then there is the Blue Lady, a mysterious apparition said to lure visitors deeper into the ruins before vanishing without warning. Some versions of the story claim that those who follow her may find themselves dangerously close to a sudden drop. Historians consider many of these tales to be folklore, but when unexplained footsteps echo through the empty castle, disbelief becomes much more difficult. At number 4 is Bodmin Jail, a place where England's darkest history remains locked behind cold stone walls. Built in 1779, the prison held men, women, and even children under conditions that were often harsh and unforgiving. 55 executions took place here before the final hanging in 1909. Condemned prisoners spent their last hours alone, listening to footsteps approaching along the corridor. Many of the original cells still survive today. Visitors and staff have reported sudden cold spots, unexplained voices, and the sound of heavy doors moving inside empty sections of the building. Others claim to have seen shadowy figures standing behind locked cell doors. Whether these experiences have natural explanations remains uncertain. But at Bodmin Jail, the most frightening stories need no demons or monsters. The suffering recorded within its walls is disturbing enough. At number 3 stands the Tower of London, a royal palace, fortress, and prison with almost 1,000 years of turbulent history. Kings, queens, nobles, and political enemies entered through its gates, and some never left alive. Anne Bogley, the second wife of Henry VIII, was executed on Tower Green in 1536. Legend claims that her headless spirit still walks near the chapel and the place where she died. The tower is also connected to the mysterious disappearance of 12-year-old Edward V and his younger brother, Richard. The fate of the princes in the tower has never been conclusively established. Guards and visitors have reported unexplained figures, footsteps, and sudden sensations of fear. After centuries of imprisonment, betrayal, and execution, perhaps the tower does not need ghosts. Its walls already remember everything. At number 2 is the ancient Ram Inn, one of England's most notorious ghost hunting locations. Its crooked rooms, narrow staircases, and centuries-old wooden reams create an unsettling atmosphere before any supernatural story is even told. Visitors have described sudden cold, unexplained movement, and the disturbing sensation that an invisible presence is sitting or pressing against them. Some claim to have seen the spirit of a young woman, while others report hearing children moving through empty corridors. The darkest legends speak of a hostile entity hiding inside the building, waiting for visitors to enter its rooms after nightfall. None of these paranormal claims has been scientifically proven, but spending several hours inside the inn can still become an intense psychological experience. As he stares at the toy, a faint hidely-giggly echoes from the darkness at the far end of the hallway. When the lights go out, every creaking floorboard begins to sound like approaching footsteps. And at number 1 stands Chillingham Castle, a medieval fortress near England's historically violent northern frontier. For centuries, conflict, imprisonment, and death shaped the castle and the surrounding region. Among its most disturbing attractions is a torture chamber containing instruments associated with punishment and execution. But Chillingham's most famous supernatural story concerns the Radiant Boy, also known as the Blue Boy. According to legend, a child's terrified cries once echoed through the castle walls at midnight, accompanied by a mysterious blue light. Other stories described shadowy figures and unexplained voices moving through locked rooms. Ghost tours continue throughout the year, inviting visitors to investigate the castle after dark. But if the legends of Chillingham are true, some of its residents never truly left. Thank you for joining me on this journey through England's 10 most terrifying places. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and support the channel. It helps me create more videos about haunted history, dark legends, and mysterious places. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and don't look behind you.